Hello, hello, hello. Hi, Robin. How you doing? Oh boy, I'm here. Hey, everybody out there in YouTube land and Facebook land. Thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate it as usual. And I also want to say hello to everybody that's going to watch the replay. As you normally do, I do appreciate it. This is Shirley's Thread Work. Formally, so too we begin embroidery. So if you see a new name up here, don't get shocked, don't get surprised. It's my new name. It is the name of my YouTube channel as well as my new Etsy shop. So you might want to check it out, shirleysthreadwork.etsy.com. Appreciate it. But anyway, like I said, hello to everybody. Thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate it very much. Hello, Joyce from Philly. How you doing? We got Robin from Maryland and Joyce from Philly. And just as usual, shooting the breeze until a few more people hop on, and then we start talking about tonight's topic. And got some different things I want to talk about tonight. So I think we'll have a lively conversation. I hope everybody has been doing well this past week. I've been okay, busy as usual. This new venture of mine definitely keeps me busy. Oh my goodness, it is not one dull moment, not at all. It is such quite a lot of things to do. Not going to talk about it, not going to complain about it. It's what it is. Glad I'm doing it. But I do have to admit, it definitely does keep me busy. I'm not bored. Let's put it that way. There is no time to be bored at all. So, how is the weather in Philly, Joyce? Today, here where I am in Maryland, it was a mild day. It wasn't too hot and it wasn't chilly. It was pretty good. Yesterday was too. So, glad of that. Actually, me being anemic is kind of funny. I actually was cold yesterday. I was watching TV, which is kind of rare for me to do last night. Just trying to relax and was eating dinner and watching TV, and I ended up having to wrap up in a blanket. I got so cold with the air on. It's kind of funny. Hi, Pearl. How you doing? Hi, Kingsbury Craft. How are you? Hi, Deborah. How are you? Thank you guys for stopping in. I do appreciate it as usual. Hopefully, we'll have a pretty lively conversation tonight because I do want to talk about a few things that I found interesting this week. Um, Sunday and yesterday, and actually today, to be honest about it, just kind of like, okay, here are some different things we can talk about a little bit. So again, I do like to wait a little while just to give people enough time to come in, and before we actually get started, don't want too many people to miss the very beginning. But I'll get started in a little while. I think it'll be a few more people that's gonna hop on here pretty quickly as usual. So, Kingsbury Craft, where are you? I forgot. And Pearl, you're from North Carolina. So we got Philly, Virginia, North Carolina, and Maryland. And well, Deborah's from Virginia. And so Kingsbury Craft, I can't remember where you're from, if you don't mind. And I'm sipping on some iced tea tonight. I haven't gone out and bought any wine in a minute. I'm going to try to remember to get some for next week, but I have to be honest about it. I forget to go get it because I had a pretty decent stash left over from the holidays because I don't, you know, like I mentioned before, I only drink it on a Tuesday night, so I'm not really drinking it. So I had a pretty good stash of bottles of wine, and I'm down to I think maybe one bottle still, and forgot to put it in the refrigerator, so I don't drink hot wine. I like sweet wine, and sweet wine is better when it's cold. So Kingsbury Craft, you're from the state of Washington. Okay, great. And then how you doing, 2011, Miss Matt? How are you? And you're from New York, living in North Carolina. So how is that working for you? Okay, Kingsbury Craft, your name is Gail. So I'll call you Gail, if that's okay with you, since you put it up there, which makes it less impersonal, which is great. I do like that. Um, okay, so we got everybody so far. I think I've spoken to, and I'm going to give it a few more minutes, and then I will hop into this topic for tonight. And I was just talking to my girlfriend that's getting off from work and driving home, so she rarely gets a chance to hop on. But we were talking, and she was saying, "Well, I wanted to talk to you for a second before you got on, because I couldn't remember if you started at 8 or if you start tonight at 7 or whatever. Because I do my thing tonight at 8, and then I do the sew along tomorrow at 7, so I can understand her getting a little confused. But we were talking a little bit about some of the stuff I'm gonna talk about tonight, and it was just a coincidence. It's kind of interesting. Hi, Marissa. How you doing? Thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate it as always. And 7807. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and start our conversation. And I was trying to remember the exact. I'm so bad at this. I know how to get my phone and look at the title of my subject for tonight. It's so silly, but I tend to forget the exact title. If I can pull it up, I probably can't pull it up. Maybe I can, and maybe I can't. Um, let me see. Let me see if I can pull up the name. I know we're talking about Facebook groups and how useful Facebook groups are to you. And I was trying to get the exact title, what I titled it, but you know what? I am not finding it right quick, so I'm not going to worry about it. Not at all. Not at all. That is so crazy. But you know, when I put stuff in, I just kind of move on because I know what I'm planning on doing and what I'm planning on talking about. And then I kind of forget, okay, what did you name this particular subject for tonight? So let me see if it, okay, here we go. I found how helpful are embroidery Facebook groups. That's it. How helpful are embroidery Facebook groups? And let me know, what do you think, if you think they're helpful or not. That's what we're going to talk about. Hi, Carol. How you doing? And so, Pearl, you're in Greensboro, and you're asking um, 2011 Miss Mac, or Miss Mac, where is she? Who knows? You guys might be close enough to hook up, which would be kind of cool and kind of fun. So, how helpful do you think Facebook groups are? And you know, I always like to do my AI and see what they think. You know what their um, intelligence say, and then I put my little spin on it and everything. So basically, I asked the AI to give me 15 reasons why you should join a Facebook embroidery group and how beneficial it is. And number one is community support. Now, I'm pretty positive that the majority of us normally join a group for the support, the community report. You can connect with like minded individuals who share your passion for embroidery, which makes perfect sense. Then, number two, learning opportunities. Members often share tips, tricks, and tutorials that can help you improve your skills. Inspiration. Seeing the work of others can spark new ideas for your own projects. Now, I have found that to be very true because I do belong to quite a few groups. I don't go visit all of the groups all the time. Matter of fact, I can't remember probably half of them that I've joined, but I get a lot of posting that pop up from various groups, some more than others. Maybe those are more active. I don't know. But that's what prompted me to ask this question based upon some information that I was reading. And I'll get to that in a minute. But inspiration, as I said, seeing the work of others can spark new ideas for your own projects, and they do. I remember oftentimes seeing stuff that is just absolutely beautiful. And then, of course, you're asking the question, did you get the design and so forth and so on, and people will tell you and all of that. Then you go find it and buy it and do your own little thing or whatever. So that is a great reason for joining a Facebook group for embroidery. Feedback. You can post your own work and receive constructive feedback from experienced embroiderers. Now, I'm not seeing that happen so much because normally people that respond to a post when someone puts something up um, will all like it, and those that respond like it says beautiful, gorgeous, and the whole 9 yards, which is what you want to hear. And I would assume most people won't put anything up unless they think it's really, really good, unless they have an issue with it and they're asking questions about how to avoid it. I've seen that happens quite a bit too. So you're getting that kind of feedback and critique. And that goes to number 5, problem solving. If you're stuck on a particular issue, chances are someone in the group has encountered it before and can offer advice. And I want to touch on that as well. So I'm going to mark that so I don't forget touching back on that. Resource sharing. Members often share links to free or discounted embroidery patterns, supplies, and software. And even if they're not free, they'll often share the link because I know myself, I've asked people, where did you get this design or so forth? And they've shared where they've gotten the design or the notion or tool or whatever. And then, of course, if you're that interested in it, then you can go check it out yourself and go forward from that. So that's also a benefit. Number 7, trend updates. Stay up to date with the latest trends and techniques in the embroidery world. And you get a lot of that not only from the groups, but you get a lot of that from YouTube channels. I think that's where I get most of my ideas about trends. Sometimes I will Google, and then oftentimes I will get pop ups from notifications from the different channels that I have subscribed to where they're doing different techniques or what have you, and a lot of the things that are on trend. Networking is a great way to make connections with other embroiderers, which could lead to collaborations or business opportunity. And that's correct too. Now, I've not had the opportunity or fortunate enough to collaborate with anybody to do any type of business opportunities, which would be great if it's anybody's watching. I would love to do that, or even collaboration for um, sharing time online, such as this platform here. I know some people that I watch, and I don't know why my eyebrow is itching, but sorry about that. I keep scratching my eyebrow, but it's itching me up there. But um, some people collaborate and do joint live streams and what have you. And I am open and interested in doing that because not only would I like to participate with someone else, I would love to have someone come on with me. I've even offered for that a couple of times, but people are so busy, so I have yet to have any takers. But that doesn't mean that it won't happen at some point where we can actually get together and do a collaboration and talk as a group of people with the audience. So hopefully that'll happen one day. And again, like that's good networking. Now I have met a few people that I've seen on YouTube channels, which is also a good networking opportunity. So those things do happen. Motivation. Number 9, regularly seeing work, others work in progress can motivate you to work on your own projects. So that's true. And that works really well with our soul law. So there is benefit in working with other people in collaboration. Number 10, exclusive deals. Some groups have partnerships with embroidery supply companies that offer exclusive deals or discounts to members. And Kathy Hogue, however you pronounce her name, Haug, that is a Mighty Hoop representative, has a Facebook group, and she has lots of tutorials on how to use the Mighty Hoop and all the different sizes. She also, um, being a Mighty Hoop representative, will order your Mighty Hoop for you. It comes really quickly, and you save on shipping. Now, there are other of us that do have that discount capability. I don't, not yet anyway. I know Jeanette from Baroka Sewing and Craft does. And I'm trying to think, hmm, I think the Crafty Puerto Rican, but I'm not 100% sure. Angela Jasmina does. Um, Katrina Graceful Creation does. Those are the ones that I know do have that Mighty Hoop affiliation, and there's many, many, many more. Now, the ones that I mentioned outside of Kathy, if you order directly from the company and mention their name or their code or whatever, then you get a free shipping or discount or something like that. The difference is Kathy will actually do the ordering for you. And the other thing that she does is if you don't know exactly what you need or want or so forth, what machine you have and so forth, she helps you out. Because I know when I first started ordering from her, I think I found out about her from a Facebook group, don't remember which one. And I reached out to her via her Facebook group, and I told her, she asked me, what machine do you have, blah, blah, blah. And we had a good conversation. We actually talked on the phone. So she's open to that. And she and I talked for quite a bit, had a good conversation. And she steered me to what I really needed over and above what I was asking for. And not to get more sales per se. It was just because, I ain't going to buy nothing I don't want or not ready to purchase. So that wasn't, I don't think, her goal, but it was more of an educational situation. So now I just sent her a note saying I want to order blah blah blah, or this is what I'm trying to do. What do you think I need, or something like that, and that's how I proceed going forward. And it has worked out wonderfully for me. So that's Kathy Hogg, and I forgot the name of her Facebook group because I think I just have her in my contacts. So I don't look at that anymore. So I can't remember the name of it. But if you put Mighty Hoop in there, and I think it's Mighty Hoop Design, something along that line, you'll find her. Um, Number 11, swap opportunities. Some groups organize material or pattern swaps, which can be a fun way to diversify your collection. I've not run across that yet, but I'm sure that happens. Number 12, local event information. Local members may share information about upcoming embroidery or craft fairs, workshops, or meetups, what have you. Haven't had that happen with any group because I don't think I belong to any group that's local. So that hasn't happened for me. I don't know about any of you guys, and please just chime in because I'm trying to keep up with what's being uh, discussed here. 13, camaraderie. Being part of a group of people who share your interests can provide a sense of belonging and camaraderie. And that part is really, really good because actually the person that I was speaking with prior to coming on here, she and I met in a Facebook group. That's how we met. Um, well, actually, a YouTube group, and it was Eve's Baby Booty. And I've met several people that way, but she and I actually became friends where we actually know each other, have visit, spent time with each other, and all of that kind of stuff. And I was living in Florida when I first met her, and we started talking to each other practically every night. And practically we talked to each other every night because we were working on different projects, and both of us were in the learning mode and the beginning learning mode. We're still in the learning mode, but the very beginning learning mode and so forth. So we talked a lot, and we developed a pretty good friendship. And we're still, when I moved to Maryland, of course, the friendship grew even more because now we're actually able to see each other and all of that. So the camaraderie is pretty good. And even with the So Alone group, I have actually physically met several of the ladies that's in the So Alone group, which is pretty cool. And we met uh, through another embroidery event. So, these things do happen. Emotional support, number 14. Crafting can be therapeutic, and a support group can provide a space to share and navigate the ups and downs of life. Now, um, yeah, I'm going to speak on that too, but let me put a mark by that. And number 15, which is the last one on the good reasons for joining a Facebook group, celebration of a success. A place to celebrate your completed projects and milestones in your embroidery journey with those who truly understand and appreciate your effort. Now that is good because I've seen a lot of people put up some wonderfully beautiful projects that they have completed, and of course they're getting all kinds of accolades and positive critiques and all of those things that make you feel good and that motivates you to keep going because you see where people are saying that you're doing a really good job. And to the most part, when people are saying that, it's really true. I know some people just say it just to be nice, but most of the time, it is actually a really good group, a really true um, statement when people say that. So let me see who has. Hi Betty, how you doing? Thanks for stopping by. And hi Taisha, thank you for stopping by. And Kristen, I think you guys are the only ones that I haven't spoken to yet. So like I said, I'm trying to monitor the chat as well. And Pearl, you're talking to. I'm assuming you're talking to Miss Mac about getting together because I guess you guys found out y'all not that far away, which is pretty cool. See, that's the good thing. That is the good thing about these different platforms because you will find out that you can develop friendships and relationships through platforms like this. So, um, how useful are embroidery Facebook groups? As you can see, they can be very useful, very a very positive experience. Now, I would be amiss if I hadn't asked AI to give me the opposite. You got pros and you got cons. And so I asked the question, and AI said joining a Facebook machine embroidery group can be a great way to learn new techniques, share your work, and connect with other people who share your interests. However, there are some potential pitfalls to be aware of. And the first and most important one that we all have to be aware of, and those people that have Facebook groups try their best to avoid, and that's scams. Unfortunately, that is something that happens so much on the internet. So you have to be very, very, very mindful of potential scams when you're opening yourself up on the internet, whether you're in a Facebook group or Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, or X, or whatever else is out there. I don't belong to all that stuff. Some of them I do. But anyway, some groups may have members who try to sell stolen embroidery designs. This is just one aspect of a scam. They might post a picture of an embroidery design and claim it as their own and ask you to message them if you're interested in buying it. Once you send the payment, you may never receive the design, or you might receive a design that's been stolen from the original designer. So you've been scammed. That's, like I said, just one component of scamming. Most Facebook groups do not allow any selling of items on their group or through their group. And I know there are some groups that you can join that that's their sole purpose of selling items. So when you join a group, just make sure you are aware of what type of group you're joining, and then be aware of whether or not what you're participating in, especially when it comes down to money exchanging, that you know what you're getting. Another thing, number two, is copyright issues. There might be discussions or posts about copyrighted designs, such as Disney's, NCAA, NFL, NBA, etc., which can lead to legal issues. So you definitely want to stay away from getting involved in any type of copyrighted uh, situation that could get you into some type of legal hot water. So be open and careful of that. Number three, and this is a hot button for me, and this, to be honest about it, this is the very reason why I decided to have this topic. So I think I'm gonna save that until I get past these other two. So let me skip on to number four: time consumption. Participating in these groups can be time consuming, especially if the group is very active. It is easy to spend more time browsing and chatting than actually working on your embroidery. And I can see where that could happen, because if you have a lot of conversation going back and forth, you can be on that 30, 40, 50 minutes or more and not even realize you've spent that much time doing that than you have actually working on whatever it is that you had planned to work on. I mean, distractions are everywhere. Number five, conflicts. Like any online community, conflicts can arise between members. This could be due to differences in opinion, misunderstandings, or other issues. Now, I've not experienced that in any uh, embroidery group, but I have to tell you, I belong to two groups in the past several years ago. One was Scandal, for the TV show Scandal. I don't know if any of you all remember that show. One of my favorite shows. And Kerry Washington was Olivia Pope, and I watched that show religiously. Me and one of my girlfriends that still lives in St. Louis, she and I used to watch it together via the phone, because she'd watch it, I'd watch it. Commercial come on, we'd chat about what just happened. Then we shut up and watch it. Commercial comes on, we chat about what happened. It was fun, and we did it every night that it came on. I don't even remember what night of the week it came on, but that was our thing. That we would have our glass of wine, because Olivia Pope drank wine, and Miss Mackey said Scandal was the best. You loved it. I loved it. I hated when it went off the air. But anyway, I belonged to that Scandal group, and it got scandalous, which made it very unpleasant. But the most unpleasant one that I was only in for a millisecond was the Real Housewives of Atlanta. My daughter got me involved in watching that because I had never seen it before. And again, this was several years ago. And so I started watching The Real Housewives of Atlanta. And for some stupid reason, I decided to join this Facebook group because people would chat. It was kind of like the soap operas, like we did many years ago, where people would chit chat all the time about what happened on the particular Facebook, on the particular soap opera, and so forth and so on. But the thing, everybody has their favorite person and the people that they don't like, and they even do this on Twitter, X, even to this day. People back and forth. Who likes this person? Who likes that person? You said this and they said that. And one of my favorite uh, housewife was and still is Candy Bears from Escape. I love Candy. I always have, and she's my favorite housewife. I don't watch any of the other housewife franchises, but people would just you better not if you said that you like someone other than whoever was the bully on the group, then you had heck to pay because they were going to outbully you, and you didn't have an opinion. So, like I said, I soon got off of that Facebook group because of just what it says, conflicts. And I mean, people would be mean. I mean, literally mean. It's ridiculous. It is really, really ridiculous. And you, Miss Maggie, you said Candy with the store. Yes, with the Candy has the restaurant. If that's what you're asking, she has a restaurant in Atlanta. She has the Old Lady Gang. She has Blaze. She sells uh, intimate products for intimate interactions, and she sells makeup. And she does have a retail store. So she has a lot of businesses and she does a whole bunch of stuff. But anyway, she just, I like successful people and I like positive people. So anytime I see somebody that's doing something positive and successful with it and try to keep themselves halfway um, presenting themselves as being professional, what have you, then I'm all for you. And out of all the ladies that I saw, she was one of the main ones. That's why I liked her and I still do. But anyway, I digress. Um, it became a cat fight. And I was like, I'm not going to get myself involved in no cat fight over something that really has nothing to do with me because nobody on that show is paying not one of my bills. And I'm not, and none of you guys in this group paying my bills either. So, uh-uh. Not gonna do it. Yeah, that's the one. She was much more. Yeah, she acted like she had good sense. But anyway, um, so the conflicts do happen. So I'm gonna back to number three, and number three was quality of information. There might be discussions or posts about no, not all advice or tips shared in these groups are accurate or helpful. It's important to cross verify information with reliable sources. That is one of the major question marks. And I'm not going to say concern because it's not really my business per se, but I have looked at because I get a lot of notifications and pop ups. And I'll read the question because oftentimes, like tonight, I get ideas for a discussion for my Wind Down Tuesday. And I notice that there's two things that I keep seeing that kind of makes me a little concerned. One is I'm still seeing a lot of people selling their machines, and I just don't get it. You spend all this money, time, and all of that stuff getting machines, and now you're selling them, and I don't know why. But that's a different story. We talked about that. This one is when people would ask about how do you stop getting puckers or how do you I had a customer that approached me to do a rush job, and they provided the shirts, and but I didn't collect the money up front, and I did the rush job, and I got it to them on time, but I still didn't get the money. What should I do? And blah 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 and all that kind of stuff. And then some of them, well, I got this particular order, and the logo is this size and this many stitches and so forth and so on. What do you all think I should charge? Questions like that, which I'm assuming for this particular group obviously is appropriate. But the thing is, if it's 55 people in that group, you're gonna get 55 different answers. And it's like, how is one supposed to make a decision what is the right answer? And that's even with technical situations. I've seen people give all kinds of explanations or recommendations or suggestions how to um, do a technique, which may or may not be good. And when I read it, I'm like, what? Who do that? Where they do that at? And the person that's asking the question obviously does not know, or they wouldn't be asking the question. They're new and confused, or you know, scared they're gonna mess something up or whatever the situation, and they're hoping and depending upon someone to give them good advice. And oftentimes you do see a lot of people giving good advice because they've been doing it for a while. They have a store, they whatever, and they give good advice, which is really, really good. But then you have some of these other people, and it's a number of them that would not give you good advice. They would give you something that is totally whack, totally off the wall. And it's like, where is this coming from? And it bothers me because I think people need to be a little bit more discerning. And as it says, you need to cross verify the information with reliable sources. Now, the question is, where's the reliable source and who is the reliable source? That gets to be a question because you want to know who to believe. So, what do you guys say? Who do you believe? Where do you turn to get that reliable source of information? Because oftentimes you got people that have joined a group to get help. They pose a question, and then they're going to listen to somebody what they say. And I have to be honest about it, I have answered some of those questions myself. Now, one of the biggest questions that I've seen posed that I have answered has been on pricing. And I think that's one of the biggest weaknesses of our industry of home embroiderers. People that work from home, but they're trying to have a business. This is their sideline hustle, or they're trying to make this their main job, or whatever it is, but they work from home because uh, it seems like the public that want embroidery work done for them seem to think that because you do the job out of your home, then it is not quote unquote professional work. Therefore, they shouldn't pay professional money. So they're looking for cheap labor. They're looking to be able to save some money. They're looking to be able to get a price given to them that would be less than what they would pay if they went to a brick or mortar store. I have had things embroidered before I even started embroidering out of an embroidery shop storefront that you go into, and that's what they do. And it's not cheap, and they have strict regulation rules. This is how we do it. This is what we charge. This is how long it's going to take, and this is what you're going to get. Oftentimes, they're selling their own blanks. You're not bringing in your blanks. They're selling their own blanks, and they're going to do it on their stuff because that's what they're used to. That's what they know. If they use this particular shirt, that it's going to turn out this way because that's the product they're used to, and that's how it's going to be. It's 100% different than what they do if somebody calls me up or texts me or whatever and say they want a shirt embroidered or what have you. Now, either they're going to let me pick the shirt, which is what I definitely try to do, or they're going to want to bring me their product and want me to stitch on it, which I hate doing. But the bottom line is they're usually not going to want to pay top dollar. I put it that way. If they can get it done at the brick and mortar store for $40, when they bring it to me, they definitely don't plan on paying 40, but they don't even want to pay 35. They want to pay 20, 15, 10. Why? Because you're doing it at home. And when you are in these Facebook groups, you get 59, like I said, if there's 55 people in the group, you're going to get 55 different prices. They have all their different recommendations. I was looking at something today, and I'm telling you, one person was saying this, and one person was saying that, and I don't do that, and I wouldn't charge that kind of money, and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, wait a minute. Because, like I said, I have responded to these questions a few times. And my response has always been, you need to charge what you feel your service is worth, period. You don't need to worry about what somebody else is charging. That's not, no, you don't need, your local competition is the only thing that you need to be concerned about. What is the norm in your area that your area will support, and you need to be in that range somewhere. But if you put your stuff out here on the internet and you got people all over the nation or even could be the world, and everybody's coming back after you, telling you to do it this way and do it that way and do it this and charge this, and I don't charge that, and girl, I wouldn't charge that, that's too much, that's not enough, all of that, you're just confusing people because nobody is going. You got to make up your own mind and stick to it. The only thing that I will definitely be definite about, get your money up front. Now that's a definite recommendation that I will put out there to anybody that asks the question about how much to charge. You charge what you think you should charge, what will work for you. But whatever that is, get your money up front before you do the work. Now, I stand by that 100% because if they go anywhere else, that's what it's going to be. You go anywhere else and you're having work done, you're going to pay for it up front because nobody's going to get stuck with that. Because what they're going to do with it? If I need 20 shirts with my logo, where is it? My logo on it. My logo. They can't sell my logo to nobody else but me. Me. So, yeah, you're gonna pay for it up front. Now, whether you like it, get it, or whatever, now that's a different story how that is worked out. And that needs to be in your contract. It needs to be written up in the beginning. All of those things need to be talked about, explained, agreed upon, and signed. That's how I feel about it. Those are definite. But how much you charge? Mm-mm. I think people need to stop doing that. Telling people what to charge, and this is too much, this is not enough, this is right, this is wrong. And the other thing that I don't agree with at all, and I've read about this in several different places, the the process of charging $1 per 1,000 stitch is antiquated information. It does not work. You cannot charge $1 per 1,000 stitch for everything you do. It does not work. The math does not work because you're going to either undercharge or overcharge. So you can't do it. You have to have another mechanism. What your mechanism is, I can't tell you. You have to figure that out, make it up, find that out yourself. I just think that that dollar for 1,000 stitch is just antiquated information. And that's what I have to say about it. But again, when you're having conversations in these groups, for someone to definitively tell you this, that, and the other, especially when it comes down to pricing, I don't agree with. Now, when it comes down to different techniques and stuff, that's a whole different story because sometimes people will give you really good information and sometimes people don't. It just depends upon what they've been taught or how they have learned to do it. And what I have found sometimes when people have been doing it a lot, some people, not all, they kind of take shortcuts and get lazy and do it, not do it the way the quote unquote experts tell you how to do it. And I'm not mad at that. What I don't like is if they're talking to a newbie, a brand new person that's just starting out, and then you're trying to teach them your shortcut. When a person is just starting, they need to know how and learn how to do it correctly, the way the industry says to do it. Then, as you are comfortable with your own skills, then if you come up with a way that's better for you, then it's okay. But starting off number one, I believe it's just like teaching somebody the ABCs. You need to teach them the basics. Whatever subject it is, you need to learn the basics first. Then you can build up on it however it works for you. But learning shortcuts and what have you from the jump street, I don't think is a good thing. Now, let me see what some of the stuff that has been said. Um, I know, Robin, you saying so true, and I'm assuming you were referring to um, the people not giving people giving 50,000 different bits of information. And Miss Max, you said you don't like the housewives because they're too petty. Very much so. Very much so. I agree. I look at it for entertainment, but yeah, it yeah, you're correct. Very petty. Very petty. But I think it's about as bad as when I used to watch soap operas. They were petty too. And hi, Ann, how are you doing? And you say you love Dime's videos. I have my own thought about Dime's videos too. Dime does a, I like Dime's videos. What I don't like about Dime's videos that usually they're trying to say something. I have watched many of Dime's videos and I bought quite a bit of product where I got to the point where I kind of stopped watching the videos because I had bought all I planned to buy. And I'm not gonna let you try to sell me nothing else that I really don't need because I whatever. I don't need an individualized quilting program, an individualized monogram program, an individualized whatever else that they font or whatever else they sell. All these different softwares and what have you. I don't and I don't use Dimes products. I don't use their thread. I don't use their hoops. I do have Kingstar, and I don't know if Kingstar is there. I know Exquisite is theirs, I don't use exquisite thread. Not that I have anything against them. I just don't use them because I like what I use. Nothing's wrong with what they have. So please don't go out and say Shirley's bashing dime stuff. I'm not. I'm saying I don't use it because I already have something I use. I use Mighty Hoops. I don't use dime hoops. I use Floriani thread, therefore I don't use exquisite. That's the only thing I'm saying. That's a preference, a personal preference. It has nothing to do with quality or what's best, better, or whatever. I got into Mighty Hoops before I even knew anything about dime hoops, so it didn't make sense for me to switch. So I haven't done that. So, and I got into Floriani thread before I knew anything about dimes thread. That's it. I do use dimes designs, and I've also used dime for digitizing. So I don't have anything against dime. It's just that, you pick and choose what it is that you like, and you know, I stick to usually what I like unless I see something that I like better that may be a little bit more economical. Maybe. I don't know. Um, Carol, how you doing? How you doing? And you were saying a couple of my resources are Linda Shaw with Embrilliance, yes, and Eric Campbell for digitizing. I don't know that person. They both really encourage practice. Practice shows me what question I need to ask. So that part is really good. And I do watch Lisa Shaw as well. Um, Joyce, you said John Deere. Yes. Floriani and Embroidery Library are my resources. Yes. Those are the places that I consider experts, put it that way. Why? Because they've been doing it forever. And they have proven that they know what they're talking about. So when you know that there's a business that has been around for a long time, be it a YouTube channel or whatever, and they are successful. Plus, they've been around for a long time, and what they say seems to hold up to industry standard. And you said, what do you mean by industry standard? Well, I'm a person that likes to read, and I will look things up. I Google, I AI, I'll get a book, I'll do these things to try to see what quote unquote industry standard is. So when I hear somebody tell you to do XYZ that is contrary to what industry standard is, then it bothers me a little bit. And because, like I said, I think people need to learn how to do something correctly first. Then if you got a shortcut, honey, go for it. If you have a way that works for you, better go for it. That's just like measuring measuring like a shirt. People use their fingers to measure versus a ruler. If this is something that you've gotten used to because you've done it over and over and over again and it works for you, I'm not upset with you. But you at least need to know how to measure. If you want to get a left chest logo, where my left chest logo is, you need to learn how to measure that correctly according to industry standard. Then go from there and then figure out what works best for you. That's the only thing I'm saying. Because people will look up to you when you put your work out there, when you put your source out there. Like I'm on a public platform in a few places. If someone is watching what I'm saying, listening to what I'm saying, I want to feel comfortable in the fact that what I'm saying can be backed up by somebody other than myself that has more experience. I guess that's where I'm coming from. I'm just, anal like that because that's how I was taught when I was in sales and pharmaceutical sales and all of that kind nursing, all of that kind of stuff. Everything that we said and did was backed up. it could be backed up. If I talk to a patient about something, it can be backed up by more than me. If I talk to a doctor about something that had to do with medicine, whatever, it could be backed up by the science information we had. So that's kind of what I've been trained to do. So that if you're wondering why, okay, why is Shirley saying all this stuff? That's my background, that's my training, and that's how I think. So that's how I feel. And I know everybody may or may not feel that way. It doesn't matter. I'm not worried about everybody else. I'm just saying how I feel. And I think for newbies, new people that are coming out and starting, they really need to get a grasp on how it's supposed to be done correctly first. And when they listen to people tell them to do it this way, that way, what have you, and that information is not 100% correct, it does kind of bother me. So that was my issue with that. And like it says, even the AI says you need to do some cross verifying with that. So that's what I want to talk about as far as Facebook book groups are concerned. And mentioning Facebook groups, I'm just going to throw this commercial out there. I happen to have one. I just started a Facebook group, and it is called Shirley's Threadwork, believe it or not. So check it out. I already have some members, and some of my members are on here. Thank you for joining. It's just like any other Facebook group. You know, you make a request to join, and then you know, you got some questions to answer. You got to agree to follow the policy, blah blah blah, and then I check it and say, okay, yeah, you're a member, and then we go from there. It is spank brand new. I think it's only been a couple of weeks maybe, and so we haven't done a whole lot. Um, and I do need help with getting the stuff what we want to talk about, what we want to do to make it grow. So those of you that have joined, open for suggestions, please. And I'm going to put that out there. But I'm putting it out there for all of you guys that are listening, all of you that are in the chat, all of you that's listening to the chat, all of you that will listen later on to the chat. Shirley's Threadwork on Facebook. It's a Facebook group. Please plan to join. I open the door. It's open as usual. I open a whole lot of doors, and I did a lot of looking up for this particular topic about Facebook groups. And one of the questions I asked was find how to find a reputable machine embroidery group on Facebook, because again, my concern was people getting misinformation. And Copilot is the AI that I use with Microsoft. I know Chrome, I believe, or Google has Gemini. I haven't used Gemini, but Copilot, the free version, is what I use. And so the first thing that Copilot says is to search. Use the search bar at the top of Facebook and type in keywords like machine embroidery, embroidery tips, or embroidery group. This will give you a list of groups related to machine embroidery. So that's how you can find them. Oftentimes, if your Facebook page is like mine, you get 59,000 million suggestions as to groups to join based upon what the AI has peeked into your business and decided this is what you're interested in or may be interested in. And that's how I have found a lot of Facebook groups that I have joined. And but you can do the search. Number two, check group details. Look at the group's descriptions, rules, and the number of members. A good group will have a clear description of what the group is about and what is expected of its members. Now, Facebook has general rules and regulations that I'm sure apply to every Facebook group that is created, because everyone I've ever joined has the exact same thing as far as the rules and regulations and all of that. And I think I have that listed somewhere, um, what the standards are. Yeah. What are some of the guidelines and requirements for a machine Facebook group? And number one, no promotion or spam. And of course, my group says that members should give more than they take from the group. Self promotion, spam, and irrelevant links aren't allowed. This includes YouTube videos of your business and links back to your channel or your own website. Now, uh, it's up to the administrator of the group to decide whether or not they allow any promotion. Definitely no spam, but it is up to the administrator of the group whether or not any type of promotion is allowed. So check with your group administration. Number two, be kind and courteous. All members should treat everyone with respect. Healthy debates are natural, but kindness is required. Now, I don't see a reason for a debate on a, well, I don't. I don't really see a reason for a debate. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and you're free to express yourself and your opinion. I just don't think it is healthy for someone to come back and challenge your opinion because your opinion is yours. Now, if for some reason, if they know that you have given false information, I don't see any harm in posting the correct information, but not directly pointed out to the person that may have given false information. It's a way to be diplomatic with correcting false information. If I tell you that something is, you got to turn left to get to XYZ, when the correct information is you need to turn right, then it's easy for you to come back and say that the resource that I just checked said you're supposed to go right. You don't have to say, well, you just told them the wrong thing, and I don't know what you're talking about, girl. You're supposed to go. No, you don't have to do all of that. That's how you get conflict started. You can give correct information, would be and be diplomatic and keep moving and no back and forth, back and forth. That stuff I don't like, and I don't definitely want that on my group. I don't want the back and forth stuff because why? I've never believed in trying to change somebody's opinion, and I definitely don't want you trying to change mine. You can give me correct information if I'm incorrect, and it's up to me to accept it or not, and vice versa. So there we are. No hate speech or bullying. Everyone should feel safe in a group. Bullying of any kind isn't allowed, and degrading comments about things like race, religion, culture, sexual orientation, gender, or identity will not be tolerated on any of these groups. So, yeah. Respect everyone's privacy. Being part of a group requires mutual trust. Authentic, expressive discussions makes groups great, but may also be sensitive and private. What's shared in the group should stay in the group. Stay on topic. Posts and discussions should be relevant to the group's focus, which is in this case machine embroidery. Follow group rules. Each group has its own specific rules. As I stated, always read and follow these rules. And so that those are the general requirements when you are joining a group or even forming a group that I'm pretty sure most of us have already seen. So back to how to find a group. Check the group activity level. A good group will have regular posts from its members and active participants in the discussion. Now, back to my group that I just started. We're working on it. It's growing, and it takes time. And, you know, it requires everybody sticking in, having something to say, ask a question, develop a chat, whatever it takes. It's kind of hard to pull people into something without people willing to participate. And everybody doesn't have to, because I know I belong to several groups and rarely do I participate unless it's something that pops up that I want to discuss. A lot of groups I've joined and I don't even I don't remember what all I've joined. So unless something pops up, I may not even go back to that group again because, frankly, I try not to join too many. But sometimes you join groups and you forget that you've joined that group. That just happens. You get busy. Number four, administration's presence. Look for groups with active administrators who monitor the group's activity and enforce the rules and engage with the members. Now, that is definitely true. It does need to be monitored, looked at, checked, and I try to do that to make sure don't nobody's coming in there doing crazy stuff. And number five, reviews and recommendations. Look at reviews and recommendations about the group. You can find these on group pages or by asking for recommendation in other embroidery groups. And you do find out you're in one group and they'll recommend another group because they got a lot of good information at this group and so forth and so on. So these things do happen. And I often look at how many people in the group, how long the group has been uh, formed, and all of that. It doesn't always determine whether or not I'll join the group. What I've seen on the group pretty much is what makes me decide to join the group or what the group is about. Here are a few groups that might interest you, and these are some of the groups that they picked, and I don't think I'm aware of any of them. Number one is embroidery.com group. This group is a place for fun and celebration of machine embroidery. And here members share their works and projects as well as their amazing finished projects. Now it says WIP works in projects. I always thought that was work in progress. Am I wrong? I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, tell me. But I think WIP mean works in progress. Or is it projects? I might be wrong. Another one is Machine Embroiderers Get to Know How in Facebook group. This article provides details of 30 plus machine embroidery Facebook groups where you can show off, get freebies, and learn valuable tips from experts and new friends. So, machine embroidery, get and know how in Facebook. So, Robin, you said always heard works in progress. That's what I thought, works in progress. So, this is probably just a typo. WIP work in progress. That's what makes sense to me. But who am I? I don't know. But I'm in agreement with you, Robin. It makes more sense. And that's what I thought it meant, works in progress. Machine embroidery help for the public group. This group is for people seeking help with their embroidery machines, what embroidery supplies to use and how to use them. And then the last one is machine embroidery tips and techniques, which is a public group. And this is a discussion group for embroidery machine owners who want to expand their skills. Machine embroidery tips and techniques. I'm going to check that out because I'm always wanting to learn, to grow, and improve my skills. So I'm going to check that one out and see what I can get out of it. And let me see. So that was what I wanted to, and I had checked off a couple of them. Let me see what I checked off of. I covered them. So today I ran across a video from one of the channels that I subscribe to, which is the Sewing Report. Person name is Jen or Jennifer. She goes by Jen. And it's the Sewing Report. And I look at her stuff every once in a while, depending upon what her topic is. And when I ran across it today, I stopped and watched it because it was interesting because it was about something that we had talked about either last week or week before last. And hi Jenny, how you doing? Who else popped in? Carol, I think I said hi to you, Carol. I think I said hi to everybody with Jenny. Thanks for stopping by. Jen from the Sewing Report does a lot of reports, and she did a report which I didn't watch completely, and that was on the new Bernina um, sewing and embroidery machine. Their B990, I believe, that just came out for $23,000. Does everything but pay the bill. Hi, Leslie. Thank you for stopping by. So, what she was discussing today was this topic that we talked about this patent infringement on the 3D embossed um, shakedown. I guess I don't even know if it's a shakedown. It's cease and desist. Cease and desist. Information went out to several or a few. I'm not going to say several. A few um, content creators asking, telling them to cease and desist discussing 3D emboss technique and showing people how to do it. So Jenny came across that video. She had just heard about it today, so I don't know where she been because it's been out there for a while. But anyway, she had a lot to say. But the one thing that she said that intrigued me more than anything, her thoughts and opinion were very much on target with my thoughts and opinion about this particular situation. And she is stating that she is going to get in touch with legal counsel to do some follow up to see how legit this particular claim happens to be, because she feels very much so, like I do, that there's something missing that's not adding up. And how is it even possible to have a patent on a technique? And she even showed part of the patent as it was written, and it is extremely broad and vague, extremely broad and vague, which also makes you wonder if any of you all are old enough or remember Arsenio Hall when he had his show on, and he used to say, make you say, hmm. That was his thing. It makes you say, hmm. So I'm saying, again. And Marina, if I'm not mistaken, I think I saw your name pop up on her, uh, popped in to say hello, can't stay long. I watched the live with Jen and commented on it during the live. I saw your name pop up. I saw your name pop up. And the technique is trapunto, which I showed you guys. I did trapunto. It's old as dirt. The difference between the trampunto that I've done, that most people do, is done with batting and not with puff foam. That's pretty much only the main difference between trampunto, which is old as dirt, and the 3D embossed alleged patent. And Marina, chime in if you don't mind what your thoughts were if you stayed on there long enough to actually see the document, because she didn't show 15 pages of document, but she showed several pages of document, and it was extremely vague. And as she was stating, she doesn't understand how she was even able to get a patent with that information that was on there, because it was something that people have been doing for ages. And how can you claim that this is your stuff? And the other thing, which I mentioned, and she mentioned, her contacting these people, and the lady Sean, all Sean, something Sean, I'm sorry, forgive me for not getting your name. I'm bad at that. I know your name is Sean, Shun. That is her name on her YouTube channel if you want to look it up and check her out. She does good work. She um, said that she was not contacted by any legal person, no lawyer. The email that she received was sent from the lady's personal business, no law office. So basically, there was didn't seem to be any type of law participation in this particular cease and desist process that has been put out here. Um, so I'm so glad that Jen from the Sewing Report is going to take the time to reach out to some legal advisor, so she says, and try to get more information about the validity of the possibility, not the validity of this particular patent, but the validity of the possibility of being able to patent a technique and how much of this is. And the other thing that she pointed out, which I'm in agreement with, the person did not go after any of the big shots like Racoma. Racoma still has their video up. There was Embroidery Library has been doing embossed stuff for the longest, and it's still up. I just looked at a video today that John Deere. Now John Deere did do the 3D emboss, and I don't know if his video is still up or not. But he did a video on doing. I think he called it the trapunto technique on a terry cloth towel, which was basically doing some of the same thing. Um, so what she was saying, none of the big shot that actually had the money to fight this situation has been apparently allegedly contacted to the point where they've decided to cease and desist because they haven't. You can still find their videos. You can still find fonts on Etsy. Um, she did send this patent person sent a cease and desist letter to Sean, Shun, and she sent the same email apparently to Dawn at Creative Applique. Creative Applique, Dawn actually did a video on it, and she created a font, and she no longer promotes the video nor sells the font. I actually bought the font from her. So now, Marina, you said Robin, you're saying that's an old quilting technique. Yes. King's Gail from Kingsbury Craft. Yes, I've done Tramputo as well. That person cannot claim technique. True. She's not calling it Tramputo though. That's the problem. Marina, I'm actually a paid member of Sean's group. Sean did a private group chat when she got the notice. Okay. Sean is a great person. We were all shocked by this. And in John Deere's video, he actually won an award on a baseball cap he did many years ago. Now, I don't know if that was 3D puff or embossed technique, Marina, or was that just plain embossed? I mean, puff, because this is not, and that's the clarification. It does need to be made clear because a lot of people are confused. This is not. She is not claiming that she has a patent on 3D on puff, 3D puff. She's not claiming that she has it on 3D puff. She has it on the embossed puff. And you said it was the emboss technique that John Deere won the award. Um, here you go. John Deere video. He actually won an award on a baseball cap he did many years ago, which he used the emboss technique. Okay, so that's what Marina's saying. So again, this ain't some new stuff. So looking at, and I know it's not a big deal to a lot of us because, again, I've used the technique myself personally because I looked at several videos, Sean being one of them, John Deere being another one, and Don from Created Applique is the other one. I think those were actually, I looked at Angela Jasmina, and I looked at the one that Angela Jasmina got it from, and I cannot remember who that person was, but I think it was Avance with Codesi, I think. I'm not sure. But anyway, those are the people that I saw do the 3D emboss, and I did it. After watching them, I said, okay, heck, let me try it. So I did. I've done the 3D emboss personally in my own home. So she can't do nothing about that. I did not put a video up. My plan was to do so when I came back from my Florida trip. But when I got back, I saw all of this hoopla going on. I did not do that, and I'm glad I didn't because I didn't trip off of that. So I haven't put anything up, and I haven't sold anything. So I'm in the clear as far as patent infringement is concerned. So this has nothing to do with me personally. It's just that it does not seem to be um, I'm going to use the same word that Jen from the Sewing Report used. It's bizarre. That's what she kept saying. It's very bizarre, and it is. It's very bizarre to me when I first heard about it. It didn't register right to me. If you put this out in 2015, if you and allegedly she spent all this time and thousands of dollars to get this patent done, but yet, and it was submitted 2015, it was approved 4 years later in 2019. I guess she had to keep going back and forth or whatever. I have no idea why it took so long. But then 2019 through up until 2024, which is 5 years, you ain't made no money off of it because I don't see where you've been doing anything. You allegedly have your own embroidery business. Have you been doing it and selling it and making money off of it? And if you have, why haven't we, the embroidery public, heard about it from you? That's my question. Usually, when people spend money to develop something to the point they want to patent it and they get it approved, usually they will go ahead and do whatever it is that they had intended to do to make money, to try to recoup some of the money that they invested in getting it patented. Or what was the point of getting it patented? And that apparently has not happened. If that hasn't happened, then I'm confused. That's all I got to say. Um, and Marina, you said that he actually showed the hat during uh, his recent video. So he probably isn't too happy about the cease and desist if he got one, which I don't know if he got one or not. He may have. He may have just heard about it and just decided not to put his, he decided to take it off to keep any legal wrangling because, as Sean says, it's a trend. It isn't anything that where people have made boo gobs of money off of where it's worth fighting. And the other thing that Jen mentioned, and her video is out there. So if you want to watch it, and I think it has something to do with the question about the 3D emboss, that's what made me stop and look at it. Um, why? how can you patent a technique that's been out here forever? And why haven't you gone through legal channels? And why does it look like you're picking and choosing who you are reaching out to? And why are you asking people to pay you for a license in order to talk about it? Because that was her main concern, digital content, a creator. How can you infringe upon a patent if you're doing digital content? She wasn't going after her for quote unquote selling the product. It was just showing people the technique. Now, if you show somebody the technique and they choose to do whatever they want to do with it based upon what they've learned, then that's a whole different ball game, and that's not her issue. That's the issue of people making money off of it. She wasn't making money off of it. She just showed how to do it, and all the other people that I watched pretty much was showing how to do it. And it's up to people that learn how to do it. And like I had mentioned one time, I was in the chat with Rosa one day, and I said, "You can't unlearn what you've learned." So you can't take it away from people that have watched various videos and learned how to do it. And if they choose to keep doing it, then they choose to keep doing it. It's just whether or not they sell it and make money off of it, whether or not it becomes a legal issue. But how can it be a legal issue when you don't have any legal people involved in it? Because I truly believe that if this was a legal issue, and I'm trying to choose my words carefully, hopefully, then it would have been presented to the public or to the people that were infringing through legal channels. That's usually how it's done. It's through legal channels. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Um, but that was just my question, because when I saw the video, I was like, okay, I'm not the only one crazy. I'm not the only one asking this question, because I was beginning to feel like I was the only one that was speaking out because I hadn't heard anything from anybody else. And then when I saw Jen's video today, and she did have contact directly with Sean, which Sean came onto my show. Remember, she came onto my show, which I was pleasantly surprised. So she came onto Jen's show. She gave Jen permission to talk about it. And she obviously, I don't know if she shared, yeah, she did. She shared the information with her. And that's what Jen presented. Because she actually, like I said, she put, and I'm talking about the sewing report, she actually put that information where you could read it on her live, where you could see what was the wording was, and the wording is extremely vague and broad, extremely vague and broad. So it could pertain to anything that any of us have been doing for decades. And what she mentioned, it could affect those of us that quilt. Did I say those of us that quilt? That's funny. Yes, I can say that, I guess. But because I have done trapinto punto. I've done it. One square, one block, but I did it. And that's exactly what it looks like. That's exactly what it looks like. The only difference is one is done with bat, the other one has been done with puff foam. That's the only difference that I can tell. Well, the main difference. There's a little bit different in the process. But she even, Jen, from the sewing report, showed a picture of a Coach bag that had the 3D embossed done on it. A big old C. It looks exactly like the 3D emboss that you do on your shirt. And her question was, has she gone after Coach? Has she gone after Racoma? these things are still out there and available. So I just wanted to bring that up to anybody. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Um, moving around a little bit too much. My leg was trying to go to sleep. Anybody that wants to watch the song report that came out, I believe it came out to yeah, it came out today. It was live today, and I saw it live, and just to see what she had to say, to hear what she had to say, get and she was very confused, and she was genuinely concerned and confused because her biggest concern was how is this going to affect people down the line that have been doing some type of 3D embossing techniques prior to this cease and desist situation. And NorCal Embroidery, how you doing? Depends on what's being stated. I've seen so called pros completely incorrect. And I'm not quite sure what it is that you're stating. If you can clarify that just a little bit so I can understand where your statement you're saying depends on what's being stated. And I'm assuming you're referring to what's being stated in the patent itself. And you have seen so called pros, and I guess you're talking about professionals, say something completely incorrect. Is that what you're stating? Um, or are we talking about something else? Are we talking about what we talked about a little bit earlier as far as getting help in Facebook groups um, and people not telling you exactly how it's supposed to be? That may be what you're referring to as well. And if that is, please clarify that for me because I don't know which topic you're on, but I do appreciate you chiming in and making a comment because that's why we're here and we're here for the discussion. I'm not here to um, enforce my opinion. I do give my opinion because I can't be opinionated, but it's just my opinion. Doesn't mean it is set in stone. Does not mean it's 100% correct either. It just happens to be my opinion. So please, nobody get offended. I hope for me stating my opinion because you are more than welcome to state yours, and we will definitely share it, talk about it, do whatever you want with it. Doesn't matter because that's what we're all about. It's a conversation. It's a discussion. It is not anybody sitting up here trying to force feed anything. I just thought that that video, that live that was done earlier today, was interesting since we had talked about it, like I said, a week or two ago. And I don't know if it was last week or week before last. I can't remember when it was, but we had talked about it. And for her to talk about it today kind of made me feel good. I'm going to be honest about it because she was asking some of the same questions I was asking. And so I was feeling like, okay, well, I am not the only one that has these antennas up. And maybe we're just the only one crazy enough to publicly say something about it. I don't know. But it was very interesting to me that she had some of the same questions that I had. And what I liked mostly from her conversation today was the fact that she is willing to go a step further than what I've done. And that is actually because her platform is reporting. So I get it. She wants to dive into the validity of the potential of having that kind of a patent and get legal advice is what she said. She wanted to hear what some legal authorities had to say about being able to do a patent like that because of the ramification it could have on a broader audience than just the few people that got the cease and desist email. She was concerned about mainly the quilting world, since the quilting world is huge and trampunto is so similar to what she's talking about. The embossed towels that Embroidery Library, the designs for embossed towels and different things that Embroidery Library, because she mentioned Embroidery Library, are very famous for because they got tons of them. You go on their site, they got tons of them. As Marina was saying, John Deere has several, and it's so many other sites that have several. And again, I know Racoma is still up. Saw it today. So they have not taken their video down showing you how to do the emboss. Um, and I think the other day I was talking to my girlfriend, and she may or may not be on here, I don't know. But we were looking at different sites that still had the stuff up. There was still a lot of sites that still had it up. And there was a lot of stuff on Etsy that still was available. So not everybody is falling for this situation that has been presented. And Jenny, you believe all brand received one of those letters too and took down their video. Okay. Hmm. Did I know all brand had one? A video of. But that's good to know because they're kind of big. So they got a letter as well. I'm just curious. It not coming from a law office. And I would think that there would be some kind of contact from some law firm of some sort that would give some validation. I guess that's where I'm coming from. Some validity, some validation over and beyond going on, looking up the patent number and this, that, and the other, and reading the patent. And those of us, even with Jen today, she was looking at it, I was looking at it, and make eyes go cross with all of the terminology, and it was almost like, well, it was a legal document, and it was just like reading a legal document because you couldn't understand what it was they were trying to say. So how can you really know what you can and cannot do when it was so broad and so vague and you didn't know exactly what it is that they were trying to say? They kept talking about 3D embroidery and applique, and those were the words that I kept seeing. The 3D embroidery, I saw applique, I saw pictures that was trying to describe how the process worked, and all of the stuff was something that we've been doing all the time. That is the question and the concern. Even after actually seeing the legal document, the parts that were shown made things even more confusing than clarification for me. Robin, if quilters have been doing this since like the 1800s, how can she have patented, or is it her way is different? Um, the 3D boss embroidery process that has been trending is slightly different than trampunto. I will admit that. Um, and Carol, you said if this is allowed, what other techniques are at risk of being hijacked? That was one of the main questions that Jen from the sewing report was asking as well. That was one of the main questions she was asking. That was the other thing that interests me. And the other reason why I was so glad that she mentioned that she was willing to go further with the investigation. Because being a sewing reporter, um, and I don't think that she's done the 3D emballs, and I know she doesn't sell anything, but she does review and report on things that she has uncovered. And this was one of them. And it was something that was very much interesting to her as it has been to me because it just feels bizarre. And again, I'm using her words. It feels very bizarre that this is something that can happen. And Carol, you are 100% correct in the concern as she was or is, and so am I. If this, if you can patent this, what other techniques can you patent that have been already out here forever and ever that people have been doing? Because the process, back to your question, Robin, it is a little bit different than trampunto because I've done both, but very similar, very similar. It is a minute difference. And I guess the only difference, the major difference that I would be, be able to say, one, you're using puff foam and not batting. And two, I'm imagining you can do it, but this is being put on garments versus a quilt. So the process of putting it on a garment to embroider is slightly different. And if that's the quote unquote process that she has patented, which I'm not sure that's clarified in the patent, the little bit that I read, because I didn't read 15 pages, so I don't know what's on all these other pages. Probably wouldn't be able to understand it if I read it with all the, it's not these and thous and thus and all that on there, but it's still a lot of jargon, mumble jumble jargon on there that was not very clear. The little bit that I saw. There's a lot of things with repetition. And when you start talking about embroidery, 3D appliques, and all that kind of stuff, and I'm like, wait a minute, we do this stuff all the time. Come on, hold up. Something ain't right. Something's not right. Because I mean, you could literally cut out an applique, stick a piece of foam on it, and sew around it, and keep on going. Is that the 3D puck that she said you can't do? The emboss, rather? Because you can still do 3D puff. Do not get that confused because some people did get that confused last time we talked about it. Regular 3D puff. She's not challenging that. She's challenging the embossed 3D puff, where you go from the underside and then stitch on top versus go from top and then stitch on top. That's the difference. One, you go from the underside, the other one, you stitch on top. Trampunto, you go from the underside with the batting and you stitch on top, but it's on a quilt. I've not seen that done on a garment. So, those are the only things that I can tell you that is different. So, Joyce, you said in the garment industry, a fashion show will be tonight and tomorrow. Other fashion houses and companies will be sending that same item to the store. So the issue is questionable. Um, the difference, I guess, would be whether or not uh, it was patented. See, that was the other thing that Jen brought up today. There's a difference between trademark, there's a difference between copyright, and there's a difference between patent. So back to your statement, Joyce, on the garment situation, if Louis Vuitton did not, he's trademarked. You know Louis Vuitton when you see it. You know Michael Kors. You know Coach. You know any of these big design houses stuff when you see it. It's trademark. You know it when it pops out the door. You know who this stuff belongs to because it's trademark. Now, if somebody comes up with something Versace, very distinct designs. I don't like this. Very distinct designs and patterns. Bam, that's Versace. Colors everywhere, stuff everywhere. You see that. Now, if somebody else comes up with a material that they copied that design off of and made an outfit, then they are infringing on that trademark because that's trademark. That's and if I'm not mistaken, copyright has to do with. I'm not gonna lie. Don't let me go there. I'm not even gonna try to think. But there's a difference between trademark. There's a difference between copyright, and there's a difference between patent. Hers is patent. That's just like the light bulb was patent. Nobody could make a light bulb like Thomas Edison made into his patent wall. That was the other thing that I mentioned the last time we spoke. Patents are not forever. There's a time frame that they give you. Part of the patent starts, at least this is the way in the pharmaceutical world. Part of the patent starts when you first start formulating that idea. You come up with a unique thing, but it isn't perfect. You go to try to get a patent so nobody can come and steal that idea from you. Then you work on that idea until you get it perfected. Then it gets approved, and the patent is still your patent. Now you're able to sell whatever it is that you patent and perfected, improved it, is sellable. You only have a certain more time frame before that patent wears out, expires. Poof, is gone. That's how generic medication comes about. That's patent. So with her patenting this process in 2015, how long, and I don't know if anybody read that tiny print or whatever, when is the expiration date for that patent? Now, I myself may decide to look that up myself because I don't know if anybody thought about that or even looked at it to see if indeed the patent itself is still valid because you either have to renew the patent and pay more money or the patent expires and everybody and mama can do it. That's usually how patents work. So I read something briefly the first time I heard about it because I did Google it. I Googled it. I didn't deep dive into it, but I Googled it and I saw something pop up that said something about a patent. But I also said that it had what I saw, and I'm not saying this is the same person or the same patent, but the one that I Googled that popped up said it was expired because they had not paid. Like I said, I'm not saying that's the same one, nor am I saying it has expired. I'm just saying when I Googled something and I came up with something similar to a patent for that, it said this particular patent was expired because it hadn't been paid. And Linda Rains, how are you? You are right about expiration of patents. And I know that because, like I said, I was in the industry for 20 years and I know how we were ripping and running trying to get stuff sold before the patent wore out. Expire. So patents don't last forever. They do not. Patents will expire. And once they have expired, it is free. It's a free fall. Any and everybody that wants to get in the game can get in the game. So hopefully, Jen, um, okay, Joyce, you were saying, can some things cannot be patented, and I'm pretty sure there are things that can't. I mean, it can't be patented if you did not create it. Period. If this is not your creation, it cannot be patented. I can't just walk up and say, "Oh, I like the way this look. I'm gonna patent it." It ain't mine. You have to create it. You literally have to create this. It has to be yours. Nobody else has one. That's why it takes a long time to get a patent to go through, because when you submit a briefing, a suggestion, or whatever for a patent, they have to do, the patent people do the research to see if there's any other person that has patented this idea. Is this idea unique? Or is somebody else already doing it, or blah, 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 whatever, whatever. That was the other reason why Jen was saying she's surprised that it got approved, which makes it bizarre because we're talking about stuff people have been doing. So in the process of her doing her research and reaching out to legal, getting legal, I'm not going to say advice per se, a legal opinion, information. And since she does have the patent in hand, hopefully someone will examine it and see if indeed it is valid as far as whether or not it has expired or not. Because you're talking about 2015 and 2024, 9 years. And it depends upon how long that patent was approved for. Because I know in the pharmaceutical industry, again, I know apples and oranges, but it's still a patent. Patents are often only 15 to 20 years max. And that includes, it starts at the beginning of inception. It starts when the scientist first discovers whatever little thing they discover that make them think that they can produce this, create and produce this medication. That's when it starts. When they put the patent in, say we want to make Joe Blow Ozempic. Perfect example. Everybody heard about that, the weight loss. It ain't for weight loss, it's actually for diabetes, but everybody and their mama using it for weight loss. But Ozempic, when they first came up with Ozempic for diabetes and they created it, they had to get a patent that says it expires 20 years from that date. It probably took them a good 10 years to get it on the market. Now, and this is just a, like I said, apple and oranges, but now that they're trying to promote it as a weight loss drug, it's possible for them to get a new patent for that particular process. So the diabetes patent may end in 20 years, and they already got 15 years of those already eaten up. So they don't have 5 more to go. But now that they're doing it for weight loss, they can do a brand new patent and get another 15 years, which can extend it, instead of being 5 years, 20 more years. That's how the game is played. But that again, I digress. But this particular patent has to have an expiration date of some kind. Has to, because that's how it works. And from 2015 to 2024 is what, 9 years? Is that my math? Is that correct? She may or may not have the patent still valid. I don't know. And the final word on that for me on this particular topic: what in the devil did you do with your patent? Why would you get a patent, spend the money, time, energy to get a patent, and don't make no money off of it? You didn't sell it. You didn't promote it. If you did, nobody knew about it because nobody knew about you or the patent until a few weeks ago. So why would you spend all this time, energy, and money and not make no money off of it? Not put it out in the public. That's bizarre. What was the purpose and the point of having a patent on a process? And you don't use the process to make some type of monetary gain from it. And if you have, why is it nobody has heard of you or this particular thing being tied to you until just now? That part, those are the reasons why my antenna went up. I mean, my antenna went up when I first heard about this because, again, it's bizarre. Um, with a lot of questions that need to be answered. And I just would, to be honest about it, I'm calling the person out to step up to the plate and prove that you have the legal right to tell people to cease and desist. Just be open and honest and step up to the public and let the people know why. You have the legal right to say what you're saying. You and your lawyer, or through your lawyer or somebody, get a video up, put it out there in the public, and prove that you have the legal right to do or say what you're doing. And then people will stop asking the question. I think that's the only thing that makes sense to me. If you really honestly have the legal right to do so, then step up to the plate. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you don't. I just need, I'm from Missouri. Initially, I was born in Missouri. That's a show me state. And that's just who I am. You can't just tell me stuff. You got to show me. You really have to show me. And I'm not trying to ask for any kind of legal headaches because, like I said, I haven't sold anything. I haven't promoted anything. I haven't put no videos up. The only thing that I've done is ask questions, period. And ain't no patent on asking questions. That's all I got to say. And Jenny, you said, there you go. That's right, Miss Shirley. Because I'm telling you, that's all I'm asking. Just step up to the plate. Just step up to the plate and prove the validity of your patent and the right for you to tell people to cease and desist. And then there will be no more questions on this issue from me and probably Jen and nobody else. But if you're not willing to do that or you can't do that, you're going to always have people question the validity and the legality of it because what is happening right now is bizarre. Okay? That's all I have to say on that particular situation. And I have to be honest about it. I was looking for my, I stuck at some, I was looking for my embossed shirt. Maybe it was God's will for me not to find it because I was thinking about wearing it. Oh, I don't know if I got in trouble for that or not since I'm in my own home and I made it and I can't sell it to nobody and I didn't tell nobody how to make it. Does that mean I can't wear it in public? I don't know. I don't think that cease and desist has anything to do with me wearing it. I don't know. But I did make one and I'll probably make some more. I'm not gonna sell them and I'm not gonna put it on the YouTube. But I just like to look. I think it's really cute. Somebody did recently, and maybe that negates her process. They did. what is it called? A cutout? That's not what it is. It's another word for it. But it's on YouTube. Don't remember the name, but I just look at stuff and don't know who's doing it. If I see it, I like it. But it was her father's girl. It had dad's girl. And the dad was in the embossed and the girl was in regular uh, 3D puff. And it was knockout. I think it's called knockout. And Marina, you'll like this if you're still on. Our cut and stitch software that we happen to have from Dime, because see, I don't dislike Dime. I do have Dime stuff. Does the knockout now? Whether or not we'll be able to do it with the puff and the knockout and all that kind of stuff using that Dime cut and stitch, I don't know. I said I was gonna check into it, but that was so pretty. If you can find it, you're gonna love it because it is absolutely gorgeous. It said dad, and then it had dad in the emboss, and it had girl in red, dad's girl. And I thought that that was just absolutely gorgeous. Would love to know how to do it. The young lady showed how she did it, but the difference is she digitized her whole thing. So it's not like you can go and duplicate what she did if you don't know how to do the digitizing, to do the knockout. So you got to be able to do the emboss and the knockout and have them together. And the way she did it looked like a two-step process, which is totally different from allegedly what the cease and desist process is. So maybe that's why she felt comfortable in doing it and putting it out there. And it was like last week that I believe it was last week that Father's Day. Yeah, last week. It was coming up to Father's Day. So day the 24th. So I think I must have seen it on maybe the somewhere in the week of the 10th through the 15th. I had to have seen it then in order for it to have been coming up to Father's Day because I remember talking about it and on the sew along. I believe it was last week. And you guys that don't sew along, you'll let me know if I'm correct or not. But anyway, I'm looking at the time and it's already 10 o'clock, a little after. I do appreciate you guys hanging out with me. And as always, I keep forgetting. Y'all, I need these thumbs up. Come on. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. And on top of the thumbs up, I do want to thank all of you that did go to my Etsy shop and liked it, followed it, favored it, whatever it is. And I do hope and pray that more of you will do that. Etsy, it's Shirley's Threadwork, one word, no punctuation, just as it's written here, Shirley's Threadwork.com Etsy.com. Shirley's Threadwork.etsy.com. Shirley's Threadwork.etsy.com. Check it out. Brand new. Working right now on kitchen towels. Excuse me. Um, I got some new ones that I'm going to be putting up. I got some more pictures I'm going to be submitting so you get a better look at it. Everything that I do is a brand new process, and ain't nobody doing it but me. So it may or may not be up to snuff of some people, but I think it looks pretty decent. It's not bad. The tiles, of course, when you buy them, they look great. I'm happy with them. The people that have bought them have told me they're happy with them. Of course, I need more sales. Um, if you don't need a towel, get one for a gift. Um, oh, thank you, Jenny. I appreciate that. I My YouTube name, my group name, Facebook group name, and my Etsy shop are all the same. That was one of the reasons why it took me so long to do it, because I wanted to make sure that I could make all of that stuff cohesive. So there's no way that you cannot find me. If you can remember Shirley's thread work, then you're going to be able to find me on YouTube. You will be able to find me in the Facebook uh, group, and you'll be able to find me on my Etsy shop because they're all the same, Shirley's Thread Work. So check it out. I do appreciate it. Um, are you sure your process has, are you sure your process hasn't been patented? Not yet. I ain't gonna patent my. That's a good one. That's a good one. You just wait until I get on up there, and then I might do some patenting. I'm gonna steal somebody's stuff and put a patent on. But no, nothing that I've done has been patent. However, and people steal stuff, but you know what? Whatever happened, happened. I'm hoping and praying that my business will be successful. It's new. It's not quite a month old yet. Um, I have had some sales, so that's great. I always can use more, want more. Hopefully, we'll get more, more, and more. And is open for business, just like my YouTube channel and my Tuesday Night Live. I'm working all ends. At some point, not anytime in the very near future, I'll actually open up a website because you can do it through Etsy, which is great. But that's the process. I'm retired. This is my third career. Nursing was my first one. Pharmaceutical sales was my third one, and this as an embroiderer for business is my third career. Most likely will be the last career because I'm up there age wise. But I'm not just sitting around doing nothing. That's how you get old and disappear. And I'm not planning on doing that anytime in the near future, if it's the Lord's will. So that's why I keep myself busy doing stuff, try to keep my brain alert, no cobwebs up in there because I'm constantly reading, learning, studying, doing all that kind of stuff, which they say is very, very good to keep your brain cells alive and well and not, you know, get the dementia, Alzheimer, and all that kind of stuff, which I'm praying to the Lord as well that does not happen to me because I've seen it. It ain't pretty. You don't want it. So uh, you followed the same career path. Okay, you did. All righty then. Okay, that's good to know. We need to chat. So you are a retired nurse, I'm assuming is what you're saying. If that's the case, let me know. Put info into the comment or I not your number and all that kind of stuff. Don't want that. But if you write a comment and let me know that you're interested in us getting to know each other and all that kind of stuff. And I'm talking to you, Linda. Let me know, then I can make that situation happen because I like meeting the people that watch me. I've met several people so far, and I think we got a pretty good group of people that we hook up with every Wednesday night, and we enjoy each other's company and having fun. And then I also communicate with some people that's not on the Wednesday night so along. So let's talk. You are a retired nurse. Let's talk, girl. I want to talk. And did you do pharmaceutical sales as well? If so, that is really funny and really interesting. But I'm not gonna keep you guys because I know, like I said, it's already after 10, and I like to keep it down. A couple hours is a long time to listen to me, and but I do appreciate all of your support. I do appreciate you guys tuning in and putting stuff in the chat. That's how we keep going. When people um, say stuff, talk about stuff, comment on stuff, question stuff. That's how this process works. And I do appreciate it. Thank you so very much. I hope and pray that we all have a wonderful rest of the week. And if it's the Lord's will, I will see you guys this time next week. And with that, I'm going to say good night. But Linda, please reach out to me and let me know if you want me to reach out to you, because I can give you. Well, let me give you my. I'm gonna give you my email address, and I'm gonna put it in here. Email me. So I hope you got it. Great. Email me. Let's chat. That'll be fun. Looking forward to it. Good night, everybody. Take care, and I will see you next week. And those of you that are in the so long, I will see you tomorrow night. Take care. Bye bye.